All right, let's get started. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone who has joined us from different parts of the world. And welcome to this webinar from BrowserStack on elevating your QA process with AI-powered test management. Quick introduction. I'm Supratim and I work here at BrowserStack as a principal product marketing manager, and I help drive the product growth initiative for the test management product. Today we have with us Ayush Sharma from the product team. Ayush, can you quickly introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, it's a pleasure to have all of you on this webinar. I am Ayush, part of the product team of BrowserStack Test Management. Looking forward to walk you through the capabilities that we have built since the last webinar.
Awesome. Couple of housekeeping items. This session will run for 60 minutes and the session is getting recorded. All the participants will be muted so that the speakers can engage without any interruption, and the recording of this session will be available to you post the session. We will have a dedicated Q&A towards the end, so please do use the Zoom Q&A window that you see at the bottom to post your question throughout the session. A quick agenda. In this webinar, we will discuss a couple of key challenges in the test management space. We will discuss some of the latest features that we have built in BrowserStack Test Management. We will also discuss some of the AI-powered use cases in test management product, followed by demo. And like I mentioned, we will have a dedicated Q&A towards the end. Before we get started, let's have our first poll question for this webinar, just to understand how you are currently managing your test cases. Can we please have the first poll up? You will see a poll question on your screen where we have listed out quite a few tools. So please do respond to this poll based on whatever tool and platform you're using to manage your test cases. We have some specialized tools mentioned there. We have spreadsheets, Confluence, Jira. So please, we will keep this poll question live for a couple of more seconds for all of you to respond. All right, moving on. We have another poll question, which is basically to understand the biggest challenge you are facing with your current test management solution. You will get to see another poll question on your screen. So we have 6 options. So based on your experience so far, it will be great if you could, select the options, which is the biggest challenge that you are currently facing with your test management solution, whether it is the test case creation process or maintaining them or managing your test runs, tracking the testing progress, or is it the overall experience with the tool or the higher cost involved? Okay, we will keep this poll live for a couple of more seconds. All right. We do have the results here where we see around 40% people who have responded to the creation of test case as one of the time consuming thing as a challenge, then maintaining test case, and followed by the other 3. I already see a smile on Ayush's face. So Ayush, how do you resonate with this response? Is it something that you see similar in the market as well?
Yes, Supratim, this is something, the similar set of trend that we have seen. Just to add on to it, if the organization or the teams that are actually quite new or in a hyper growth phase, they definitely are highly focused on creation of test cases. On the other hand, if the team has matured, the processes have matured, then the whole process of test case authoring takes a backseat, but the managing becomes a bigger problem. So I guess we also get an idea of the audience that we have at this moment with us.
Great. All right. Moving on now, we just saw some of the challenges that people are facing with their test management tools. We also saw what are the kind of tools people are using. We have various specialized tools. We have the Confluence, Jira, and the Excel sheets of the world. Now, with all these legacy test management tools, we do have seen a couple of challenges, right? Starting with the test case authoring experience, for example, which gets very cumbersome, especially when your test case suite increases, maintaining and creating your test cases becomes tedious and inefficient. Second is the limited insights where, as a QA leader, where you don't get the complete visibility into your overall testing team's progress or the metrics that you want at any given point of time. Disconnected and siloed test management platform. Basically, your existing test management tool may not integrate seamlessly with the other testing tools. Poor test automation experience overall, where you struggle to get your automation reporting or you don't have any visibility into your test failures. Unsatisfactory customer support, delayed and generic responses, multiple follow-ups, but yet no resolution on your issues. Then the overall user experience with the tool, right, which is basically the outdated interface, which impacts your overall productivity. And towards the end, we have the overall performance of your platform altogether, where reports might take hours to process and you get delayed automation test results. And lastly, on the overall cost part, you have expensive licenses out there, no free plans maybe, and you cannot add more users with limited access. Now, all these factors end up increasing your total cost of ownership. Now, considering some of these challenges that we see in the test management space, we have tried to address this with our product, with the BrowserStack Test Management. So right on the top, you see uh, test management provides AI-driven test case authoring. With our AI-based suggestions, you can achieve almost 90% faster test case creation. With our dashboard and reports, you get real-time insights into your overall testing progress. You can easily visualize your testing trends. You can reduce your total cost of ownership by minimizing your licensing cost and the overall tool complexity. And with BrowserStack Test Management, you get a single connected, unified testing tool chain where the test management seamlessly integrates with our products like Live, Test Observability. We have the low-code automation integration as well. It is also built for test automation, which means you have real-time reporting with your automation frameworks. You get AI-driven test failure analysis. And lastly, the overall user experience of using the platform, right, where you have a modern, fast, and intuitive interface for efficient and streamlined testing workflows, which eventually improves the overall QA productivity. Now, in this webinar, one of our focus is to showcase our AI capabilities that we have built in the test management product. So these are the 4 use cases which we currently have in our product. So the first one is generating test case with AI-based suggestions. So in this, you can either provide an AI prompt or upload a requirement document, and it will generate test cases based on that. It accelerates the entire test authoring experience and improves your test coverage. Secondly, filling up your test case details, right, which is typically a time-consuming process. Now, with AI-based suggestions, you can even save your time and effort there. It also recommends various test cases to execute in a test run, say by analyzing the corresponding Jira story. And lastly, it integrates with low-code automation through which you can convert your test cases into automated tests. So these are the 4 use cases that we have into our product, which are like driven by AI. And we will be watching them in the demo that Ayush will show us next. So Ayush, over to you for the demo.
Thank you, Supratim. Before we start, the demo that we are going to give today will be an extension of the demo that was given as part of the previous webinar. Someone from our team is going to post the link of the previous webinar just now. And once that's done, great. So now I'll start sharing my screen. Supratim, let me know once my screen is visible.
Yes, we can see your screen, Ayush.
Thank you so much. So, folks, this is the page for test management, which so we have multiple set of projects. Under projects, we have folders, and under folders, we have test cases. So I'm part of a demo project here where I can create multiple set of folders, and these folders can typically be created for your specific use case. For example, you want to have folders based on sprints, you want to have folders based on teams, you want to have folders based on features. So what I'll simply do here is I'll create one folder for the webinar and maybe two subfolders for two features that maybe I will be working on. Mhm. So here I have created these two folders. Now there are multiple ways in which you can actually author or create test cases in BrowserStack Test Management. I am going to walk you through all of them. The first one is the quick addition. So let's say, yeah, I'm in a folder. I'm just writing verify login capability, and seamlessly the test case has been created. If I want to create another one, it's done. Now, let's say I want to create a test case in quite detailed. So I can go and open a detailed view. I can type the heading here. I will define my preconditions. Maybe the app should be installed. It should have certain set of cart that has been selected. Items have been put in the cart, and then I can write the steps. Given that it's part of the demo, I'm just quickly writing certain set of things. And if I want to change it to steps, I can do that as well. Uh, mm, two. Now, let's say if I have certain set of common steps that I would want to use, across test cases. So I have pre-created a shared step, which is nothing but a common set of steps, which I feel that can be reused again and again. I'll just select them and voila, I have them here. These are some set of system fields that we provide. And if you want, you can also define a custom field at a test case level, which will appear here. Now I'm already integrated with Jira, so I just need to input the corresponding ticket for which the requirement is linked, and I can create the test case. Now some of the folks actually love to create test cases outside a tool, majorly around spreadsheets in a Excel sheet, or maybe in a Google sheet. So for that, for those users also, we have a capability through which we can just quickly upload the CSV file. So I'll just show you this flow as well. I've uploaded this file. This is how the file actually looks like. I have provided certain set of details. I've also provided a folder structure in this, and what are the steps, what are the results, and any new fields that I would want them to be supported. Now, if I go back here and click on proceed, the mapping happens. So this was the CSV data we just saw, and this will be mapped to these fields. Now, if I want to, let's say, check an update, for example, there was a field, the CSV value was saying something like smoke and sanity. It did not have a system value assigned to it. Now, if I want, I can create a new value, or I can say just ignore this value, or maybe map it to, let's say, other type of test cases. So that can be done. There were test case IDs. Maybe I'd want to the system to create new ones. I can just ignore this field and click on proceed, and then click on import test cases. So easily all the test cases will be imported here. And the folder that I had just created now has multiple other set of folders inside them with the test cases already present. So this is the test cases that have been brought. Now, another way, which is the more efficient way, which we did launch a few months ago, is why don't we ask the AI to actually generate test cases for us? So here we are going to actually cover three major use cases. One is, let's say, if you have or want to quickly generate certain set of test cases, you can just write them here as part of the prompt. For example, I have already have a pre-filled prompt here. It's written, and I'll ask the AI to maybe generate the test cases. I can define the folder in which I would actually want it to be generated. So I can set the location, and I'm set for it. So when I click here, so what is happening behind is that this information has been passed to the corresponding LLM. And what typically the BrowserStack AI does is that it takes the context of the folder, as well as to make sure that the test cases that are generated avoids any kind of duplication, and also keeps the tone and the style of writing in place. So plus the way this you would see that the test cases are being generated is that you would have scenarios first, and then inside them you have the test cases. So you can see correspondingly. Basically, we have created it in such a way that how does the human mind actually think? First we think in terms of scenarios, then in terms of the corresponding test cases. Now, if I want, I can simply decide whether I want to have or add these test cases or avoid them. Now I'll maybe just start over and work on another use case, which is a document. Maybe a product manager has provided a document for a story, and we'll just try to use that now. So this is a document for WhatsApp delete feature. I'll create and ask the system to generate the test case. Meanwhile, the test case is being generated. Maybe just we can just have a quick view of how the document actually looks like. So this is how the document looks like. It's quite textual in nature. It covers the objective, the background, the scope, what is out of scope, what are the typical user stories that need to be covered, what are the functional and non-functional requirements here. Great. So, yep, that is it. Now, let's see. So system, what it's trying to do here is trying to fetch the information from the document, getting the text out of it, sending it to the LLM. Now, again, we have the scenarios in place. In some time, we'll also get the corresponding test cases. As can be seen, I would say the coverage of test cases is pretty good here. And now if I want, I can just simply save them or add them. There's one other use case that I wanted to cover, which is, let's say this document was quite textual in nature. What if the document has lots of images? So here I'll do it with a Zoom room video guide, and I'll ask the system to generate test cases for me. So similarly, we'll just view how this document actually looks like. It's nothing but actually a Zoom room user guide itself. If you would see, the document has lots and lots of images. It covers the steps if you want to start, let's say, schedule a meeting. If you want to have an instant meeting in place, you want to have a schedule a phone call, you want to join a meeting, so forth. Again, a document with lots and lots of images can be seen here. Now let's see how the system performs. It has already fetched the scenarios, now just coming up with a set of test cases. Let me see for starting scheduling meetings. Looks quite promising. Maybe as you can see, the system is actually generating a lot of test cases, right? And the whole idea is that instead of making sure that the human actually generates, maybe let the system generate the possible set of test cases, because exhaustiveness is something which is a forte of AI. So here, as you can see, 152 test cases have been generated. Now it's up to us whether we want to accept them or not, whether we want to have some of them or not. But what I'll do is maybe I'll just add all of them. Meanwhile, the addition takes place. Just a second. Yes. So this is what our current matrix stands at. So typically, whatever type of requirement we provide, we produce a set of scenarios and test case in less than 2 minutes. And the coverage and accuracy are more than 90%. But given BrowserStack, we have higher ambitions. The next thing we are targeting is to reduce the time taken to less than 10 seconds and improve the coverage to reach 98% and the accuracy to 97%. So let's go back. The test cases have been added. I think there are lots of them. Yes. Great. Now, once I'm here, I can just manage the test cases or do actions in bulk. But before doing that, now let's say this is the test case title I have. Maybe I want to fill some details about it, right? So maybe what I can do here is I can go inside, let's say here. and click on edit. So either I can manually fill the details, or let again utilize AI to fill the details. In this case, again, what AI will do is take context of all the folder, see the writing style, and then recommend the corresponding steps from here. As you would have seen that BrowserStack AI is much more assistive in nature. So if you want to make any changes, you can do that and then save it. Now coming to the next set of capabilities, the next thing is more around managing your test cases. So let's say I do some kind of selection here. And if I want to, let's say, I'll do maybe for this folder. It has larger set of test cases. Yes. So now if I click here, I can see, okay, there are 30 test cases on this page, but maybe I want to do it for whole of the folder. I can quickly do edit, change the properties, the system properties that we just discussed. Or if I want to move or copy it across folders or even across a project, that is also easily possible. I can just select the project I would want to transfer it to, and then click on copy test cases. So the process will start. We do have a capability of archival as well as deletion of test cases. Next, now we have covered test cases, but let's say now you are willing to actually use BrowserStack majorly for the authoring experience, and you don't want to also make sure that the whole migration hassle happens, right? So we do have a wizard which seamlessly actually imports all the set of test cases in your current set of specialized tool. Although we support all the tools in the backend, from the front end we support these 4 tools. It's a quite simple process. It's a 2-step process where you can just establish a connection by entering certain set of details, and then just select the projects you just want to import. So no need to go through the whole migration hassle, and you can parallelly start using the tool, and eventually when you find enough value, you can then make sure you make a case for using this tool itself. Now if I go back, go in the demo version again. Now, enough, I think, on test cases. Yeah, I would want to cover 2 more things here. One thing is around if I want to see some edit, let's say I made some edits in my test cases, I can just quickly view it here. Whether what was the history, what were the versions, I can quickly see that. Who made the changes, what were the changes that were made. And again, currently we don't support versioning. That is something in our roadmap. We'll definitely build that in quite some time. The other thing is maybe adding a comment on a particular test case. So let's say I have created this test case. I want maybe a peer review. So I can just add the name here and ask them, please peer review it. Right. Now, if I add comment, the person who has been tagged will receive an email, and the person can actually come on tool and reply me back. That's there. Now we'll jump to test runs. So in test runs, we support 2 kind of test runs. One is a manual run and another one is automation run. So in automation run, we typically just accept the results, and there are 2 ways in which we accept the results. One is through JUnit XML upload. So we support multiple set of frameworks, testing frameworks, and accept the test reports using the XML. So what you can simply do is generate your XML report, and using your CLI capability, we have exposed a URL. You can just upload this file, and the corresponding test cases would be created with the logic that is given here. So a folder name would be majorly linked to a test suite. A test case name will be taken from the test case name, test case. Recently, we also launched a way to map corresponding system properties to the properties you would want to tag. So for example, if you want to tags provide some kind of state, proprietary, tags, ownership, configurations, you can do that easily. And let's say these values, let's say their priority only supports some predefined set of values. If you provide a new value, that value will be also be supported. So it's covered in our documentation. The second way in which you can actually upload automation results on a tool is through actually downloading and using a BrowserStack SDK into your system and using our sister product called Test Observability. I'll just quickly show you how it looks like. So once you upload and run a test run through Test Observability via the SDK, This is how it appears in test management. And let's say if I want to see how things look like, I can just quickly go and see on the test observability product. Test observability is a product that actually helps you with great set of insights and deeper set of insights around your automation runs and builds. So I can see actually the video, how the text performed, what were the steps that were followed. I think it's taking. So if I click on the video, it will just show me what was the process that was followed, how the actions happened. Or if I just want to maybe look at the whole build level, I can see, okay, what was the history of the test cases that were running, and you would see that certain set of test cases have been, tagged, and this tagging has happened on via AI, right? So you would see, and if you wish to override them, you can override them as well from here. This is another use case of AI that actually allows you to segment certain set of errors so that you can take a call accordingly. Here you can see that certain set of test cases have been marked as flaky simply because from their historical context they have flipped quite some time. Coming back at an insight level, now it gives you whole insight around the build history, how many flaky test cases were there, what are the unique set of errors that have been called out with their stack trace. We do have a build stability trend as well, I can see from here. All in all, again, in a nutshell, it gives you a good capability to understand and deeply debug your automation runs. Now, coming back to manual runs. So manual run actually, again, nothing but a collection of test cases. So I can just decide and add certain set of test cases as per my criteria, then add certain set of configurations. These configuration are system provided, as well as you can define your own set of configuration. I can select them and add the other set of details. I have a pre-configured test run for my demo. So there are multiple views. One is a folder view, one is a consolidated view. I prefer the consolidated view. So here I can quickly just see the combination of configurations and the particular test case and mark them as tested, passed, failed, as per whatever has been happened after the execution. If I want to, let's say, go into detail, maybe for this one, if I actually want to maybe execute now, given that BrowserStack is just not only provide test management but also have a real devices cloud that we support. So you can just click here, land on that particular configuration, do your testing, come back to test management and mark your steps. So that can be easily done. Yes. So now coming back to here, or I can simply mark the steps, keep on marking it as passed. Once I start marking it as passed, it goes into in progress. Now let's say I pass all of them, but let's say last step failed for me. So again, it will be marking as failed. Now, if I wish to, let's say, add a result because I want to log something, so I'll just keep it marked for, I might want to attach an image. So this is the image I have attached. Let's say I want to create a new Jira ticket for this particular bug. I can just select it from the Jira, mark the issue type, bug, have an assignee around adding a summary. Details, mark the reporter, and then just create it. So a new ticket has been created here, and I can just add the result. Now, as you would see, there is a defect that has been created. Now, before I click here, one thing I also wanted to show was that you can easily maneuver between different set of test cases by opening this modal itself, right? You can just click on previous, and as you would see, it is moving. Now coming back to the test case that we were looking at. So the defect that I created, now what we have is also a two-way Jira integration. What it typically means, I can go from here directly to the Jira ticket, and inside Jira we have a BrowserStack app. So once you have downloaded it and have configured it, you will be easily able to see the corresponding linked test cases, linked test runs, or test results. In this case, because a test result was linked, so I can easily see here whatever notes that I added, I can view it from here itself. So people, let's say, who don't have an access of the test management tool, maybe if they just want to use the Jira plugin, they can use that as well. Here, if I click again, if I click on continue, I'll land back. Now, since we are in Jira, the other core functionality would be, now, let's say my requirements lies in Jira. Why should I even copy paste it, right? To generate the test cases. No problem. We already have a capability which allows you to generate test cases in Jira itself. I have generated few of them here. So it's a functionality around login, if you would see. And these are the same set of test cases which are suggested by, I have accepted some of them. I'll let the other one, let them be. The next set of actual use cases, I have lots of test cases. How do I even decide that which should be part of a test run, right? No worries, let the AI do it. What AI typically does is whatever tickets are linked to this particular Jira, as well as parsing through the requirement, it maps and which it believes to be good and essential for a good test run. So a test run has been generated here, and we'll see the test cases. So these are the set of test cases which have been selected as part of this test run. Now, if I want, I can just start doing the test run here itself. Let's say I mark it's passed, this one has failed, this one has passed. If I want to see how it looks like in my tool, because it's a two-way binding, so whatever I've done here would be seamlessly be showing up there itself. So I've landed under test run, and if I open the consolidated view, I would see the same test cases marked as passed or failed. So this covers the test run section. The next set of sections that I'm going to cover majorly are the things that have been already covered in previous webinar. So I'll just give a quick overview. The next set of entity that we have is test plan. Test plan is nothing but a higher level entity over and above test run. It is a collection of test run, but also has a certain duration as one of its properties. So what it typically solves for is a use case where, let's say, a QA manager or above wants to look at that, okay, is the release ready to go in the particular time frame. So if you want to just quickly check, for example, these are two test plans, and if you would see that for this the idea was that we should be able to complete our testing by 30th now, but it is 11 days overview. In this case, we do have some time, which is, let's say, 15 days, but we have a lot of testing to cover. So a test plan typically looks like this from inside. It covers what is the overall test plan progress, how many of them has passed, failed, what are untested, and how does the trend of the testing looks like. If I want to deep dive into any of the test run, I can just simply click on any one of them and deep dive into it. Then we have, for insights, we have a dashboard and reports. Dashboard, we do provide out of the box multiple set of widgets, starting from the active test run widget, which tells us how many test cases have passed, the trend of closed test runs, how many have been executed over time. If I want to deep dive into any particular set of closed test runs in a particular month, okay, how many test runs were done, I can do that from here itself. And if I feel to deep dive, I can just click here and would land on the particular repository. One other thing that we have heard from our customers is around this metric, which is the automation coverage. The system on its own actually tells you, okay, how many test cases you have automated, which people find quite difficult in the tool that they are currently using. They have to create multiple reports to get to this simple metric. The other metric that we actually have is the trend of test cases, how many test cases you are being created and what are the set of test cases that are being created. So that's there. Now we recently launched a feature which allows you to even share this dashboard in a for a public link. Simply, let's say if you don't have an access, some people don't have an access and you want to share with them, you can just do that from here, and the the dashboard they will be able to open, as well as able to apply the filters. Coming to reports, There are two kind of reports that we support as of now. It's a simple process. I can just create a report basis some specific run logic or creation time. If I select, let's say, specific run, I can directly select the runs that for which I want to receive the information, or I can just maybe create a dynamic filter. What dynamic filter simply means is that whenever any test run will satisfy this criteria, automatically they'll become a part of the report. So I don't have to come onto a tool again and again to create these reports. So let's say if let's say any test case has failed in any of the test run that have been created, I want to set this as a dynamic filter. So these three are the ones here. I'll just save. I can define the time periods on which actually I would want to receive these reports, and for who should receive these reports. Can be done quite easily here. And then I can just create it. I already have two pre-configured reports. I'll just show you that. This is how a detailed report shows, quite detailed in nature, covers a bunch of fields, starting from the test case, whether what was the test and requirement, if any defect was linked, that is also shown, how the performance has been. Similarly, if I go back to the summary report, and this is how the summary reports look like, covers the total test runs, talks about the defects that have been linked, what are the status of those defects, how many defects, what is the priority of those defects. Again, the same thing can be done here if you want to share the report for the people who have this tool or who don't have this tool, you can just simply do it from here itself. One other thing that is in progress in terms of reports is a traceability report. We will be launching it by end of the December. Now coming to integrations, currently we support three integrations from project management tool perspective: Jira, Azure, Asana. We just saw how Jira is. We have similar experience on Azure and something similar on Asana as well. Coming on to the settings. In settings, we have a way to create custom fields. These custom fields can be at a test case level or a result level. At a test case level, maybe it is something that is important that you want to capture. So you can come here, create those fields here. You can create different types of fields and you can define the field name and then the link the corresponding project for which you wish to create or make it mandatory or not. Uh, Even I can also define custom values. What do I mean by that? Let's say these are two system values, priority and type of test cases. Now, if I want to, let's say, define a new type of test case, I can do that from here itself. I can add that value. Now it will appear in the system and you can just use it as per your own needs. Uh, Last thing before I would just want to cover is the documentation that we have around APIs. So we support APIs for all our entities, all the CRUD operations. And recently we even launched the capability to have an attachment in place. So if you want to attach certain set of provide a certain set of attachment with a particular result, you will be able to do so. Similarly, if you wish to provide configurations, now that is also supported. So this is how, if I would say, let's say for test run, this is how the whole documentation is. So for all your, let's say, reporting needs or dashboarding needs or whatever you wish to do with these APIs, you can easily do so. Last but not the least, I would also want to cover another use case around AI is actually automating the whole test case. So for this, actually, I have a good video. I'll just share that. So here, what we're going to automate is a test case, basically adding multiple customized products to cart. You can just simply read through the description easily and quickly. Now here, what is happening is we are leveraging our low code, no code product, and the script that has been generated is purely by AI. So whatever is happening here is through an AI generated script. So if you would recall, the ask here is to, select an AirPod without any engraving, then select a black iPhone 15, uh, and then add to the bag. So yeah, the system is making sure it will select black as the color. Now it will be adding it in the bag. And it's done. That's it from the demo end.
Thanks, Ayush. That was a pretty detailed walkthrough. I'm very sure the attendees have gotten a good understanding of the features. After this, this brings me to the next. We are continuously building new features into the product, and we have also launched a couple of new features very recently. Ayush, can you quickly walk us through the product roadmap for test management?
Sure, Supratim. So recently, again, we launched the AI feature to actually capture the requirements and then generate test cases. Apart from that, we are now supporting attachments and results and configuration in APIs. Um, I think we saw the bunch of features which have been launched recently. I'll be jumping directly into the what we are planning to launch in December. So in December, we have launched public links for reports and dashboard, but we are also going to launch public links for test cases and test runs. Sometimes people want to have a view of them when they are also not part of the ecosystem. The other one is, which is a very important one, which is a report on requirement traceability. So I think this is a very important use case for all organizations where they can actually see the requirements, the defects, the test cases, as well as what was the result for each execution in a single place. Have heard it to be a very good use case around auditing and compliance as well. The next one is how you wish to configure easily your folders that you have, the folder structure. You can easily drag and drop the structure as per your own will. Last is around exporting the report in a CSV file. Now, what is in store? So again, we are focused on AI. So not only just on the improvement part, but also providing more capabilities. So on the improvement front, we definitely want to increase the coverage from 90% to 95%, as well as solve for two use cases, which is instead of asking people to download a PDF and then providing it us, maybe they can just provide a Jira link or a Sana link, or let's say a Azure DevOps link, and we would be generating test cases. Not only that, when let's say any change happens in those set of test case, those requirements, how do we make sure that the corresponding test cases are also updated? So this is something on the AI front. The next part is around automation. So in automations, we are going to target two major use cases, which is around re-trigger of automation on any of the CI/CD tools that you are integrated with, and let's say supporting webhooks. So if any change happens on a test run, test plan, or a test case, you want to receive a callback or a webhook, we'll be supporting that. The next ones are more around templates. So we will be also supporting BDD test cases in quite some time, where you will be able to either provide us a feature file, or maybe the AI can then help you generate BDD related test case steps. Also, not limiting to custom test case templates. If you want to set and define certain set of template for your own organization, you will be able to do so. Last but not the least, a customizable dashboard. So we do have a good set of widgets, but currently it's limited by the number of filters we provide. So we want to provide more set of filters and even allow the person to actually create their own dashboard in which they will be able to drag and drop each widgets, decide to keep certain set of widgets, decide to add more set of widgets as per their own requirements. So yeah, that's for the upcoming roadmap.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Ayush. Uh, Well, we have just discussed some of the new features in test management and also a couple of AI-based use cases. Now, I will quickly walk you through regarding our migration approach. We want to make the entire migration process extremely hassle-free and seamless for our users. So here, what you see is a very high-level overview of what our approach towards the migration process is. We provide expert-led assessment where we help you plan the entire migrations specific to your needs. We have sample CSV templates, to simplify the mapping of your existing data with our system. We help you import data with our quick import feature, which Ayush just spoke about, from TestRail, Zephyr, X-Ray, and Qtest. And we have done various complex migrations, some of them and in as little as 24 hours. and we help you migrate various test artifacts, various data, from your existing tool to our tool. We provide dedicated support throughout the migration process. If there are any issues for troubleshooting, we're always there, and we also provide admin training, integration enablement, and hands-on coaching. Some of the features, we have already seen it during the demo, like the UI-based wizard to import from your existing tool, CSV import. Then we have the custom field addition, value mapping. All your test case IDs are retained while you migrate, and you also get updates on your migration real-time updates. And we want to ensure that while you migrate to BrowserStack Test Management, there is no disruption to your business, no loss in your data, and data security is given, utmost importance throughout the entire migration process. All right, so with this, we come to the last section of our webinar, the Q&A. We do have quite a few questions in the Q&A section, some of which have been answered by our product experts, and we will take some of these questions live now. So in case you have any questions, any doubts or any queries on some of the features that we have just showcased in the demo, please feel free to share it and we will answer them live right now. So I'm just quickly going through questions. So Ayush, we do have quite a few questions related to AI. Is there anything that you would like to pick up from there?
I'm just having a look at it. And I think I'll take one question which Brian has asked, which is, does this generate negative test cases? Brian, actually, just like any other LLM, so behind this, all of there is an LLM. We are using multiple set of LLMs. We have to provide that information. So if it is part of your documentation, whether you are providing that information, it will definitely generate. If we are not providing that, it won't. So you would see that part of the document. You would also get a prompt area. So in that prompt, you can ask what kind of test cases you wish to generate, and the system will actually generate it. Hopefully that answers your question. Next one. Prasad, I think there's a question I'll take from Hanuma Prasad as well, which is around how can we write test cases under test scenarios. Scenario as an entity as of now doesn't exist. We are exploring ways that how should test scenarios be supported in our tool. We have some ideas in mind, and we are currently testing it with our live users as well. So once we have an answer, but maybe it can be done either by tagging those scenarios or maybe just converting the test scenarios in a particular folder. Hopefully that answers your question. Can I think of any other? So now question is, the support electronic review and approval recording. Shweta, when you say electronic review and approval, do you mean approval flow in place? Currently, we don't have that in place, but it's in our roadmap where you can it will be part of a workflow where you can actually generate test cases, create them, and then send it for approval from someone else. So that flow, as of now, doesn't exist. It's definitely in our roadmap. Hopefully, it answers your question. If not, you can type another question for the same. And then how does this help in dynamic AI systems where output is variable as model gets mature, trained over a period of time? This help in testing dynamic AI system where output is maybe sure. Maybe I'm not pronouncing the name right. It's Gok or Guke. So the question is there any prioritization done of the test cases? Is there a facility for the A to do Moscow rating? Currently it doesn't, but what you can do is in the prompt, let's say you have uploaded a document and you give it a prompt that only generate P0 test cases. It can do that. In the current set of improvement that we are doing, we'll be also tagging the current priorities for each set of test cases. that will be generated. So that's something that's in plan and in a roadmap. It should be coming up live soon. Hopefully that answers your question.
We do have a couple of I think, AI related questions regarding some other features which have been already answered by our product team. Something around, can we create custom dashboard? Like, we have responded that yes, it's a part of our immediate roadmap, which Ayush also mentioned.
Adrian, definitely, I'll take your question regarding the AI assisted running on a test. We saw the video testing Apple's website on. Does it support running on mobile devices, test mobile apps? How about? Definitely, I think we have a dedicated team around it. We are exploring all the ways possible. We don't know what AI holds for. If you the question is whether there is a plan. Yes, there is a plan. How do we reach there and when is something that we don't know yet. But definitely, thanks for the idea. Info. So it will cover all the. Sumant, a great question. Here, document contains end-to-end info, so it will cover all the impact areas. But in a real time, we don't have a document with all the information user stories contains. So now the question is, how can we identify impact areas without upload that feature? So now question is, how can we identify impact areas with that upload feature? Maybe I'm not able to understand the question. Okay, understood. So Sumant, I think what you're mentioning is that a document might contain, let's say, information related to that particular feature itself, right? Some information which is specific to your organization, or some information which is like tribal knowledge, which you might have as a person who is working in the organization that doesn't, have it. Now, what we have to understand is, as an LLM, definitely in the backend, what it tries to doing is whatever information you're providing, it will give you answer according to that. But we know that this is a problem that exists. Now we are trying to find ways, how do we solve this problem. One way which we have thought of is, let's say, we utilize whole of the project details that we have, or are there any other ways in which we can actually capture the tribal knowledge, because until unless those tribal knowledge is something we get, we can't cover all the impact areas at an org level. And it's not a problem, I would say, it's a problem for all the LLMs in general. You have to provide them all the information, and only and only then they can have a end-to-end answer for all your queries. Done. My company is running more and more to API uses. Does or cannot support API testing? Cannot. There are compatibility with so that AI reviews the code and compare it with the story and give feedback. Sri Devi, I can take this question. As of now, no. Definitely a great suggestion. We'll pass it on to the corresponding team. What is the benefit of using Alex? What is the benefit of using BrowserStack instead of TestRail for executing test cases? Alex, there are multiple set of things. See, TestRail typically currently, I would say the UI is quite old. TestRail, and we have a good modern UI. You can actually easily do some faster testing. Plus, we have a whole platform in play, right? As I was walking you through, we provide test observability, which actually gives you deep insights around automation use cases. And there are some use cases, let's say you want to do cross-platform testing. So you can just quickly just click off a button, you can just land on the particular configuration and do the real device testing as well. So I would say these are the key differentiators that we have against TestRail. Not limiting, if you don't want to limit, let's say, to execution. You have seen AI, something that what we have built is much more quite powerful as compared to what TestRail has. Currently, they don't support AI capabilities. So I believe that given the efficiency that we are now providing, it makes much more sense for teams to shift from legacy systems to some modern age tools like ours. Hopefully that answers your question.
Right, we have 4 more minutes. We can probably take 2 more questions, probably. Uh,
Mm. person. I didn't get this question. My company. Todd, maybe you should reach to our sales team, or if you have a connect with our any of our account executives, I think they will be able to answer any question related to API testing. Daryl, again, maybe you should reach out to the account executives. They will be able to answer better around real devices. Agreed, Daryl, on the test rail part.
Yeah, we can probably take one more question, Ayush. Maybe there is one more around Playwright that we have just received.
Actually, I not qualified enough to answer this. Maybe we can, Sridevi, maybe you can connect with our AE, account executive on automation. They will be able to answer it better.
Right, I think we have answered most of the questions. That was a very interesting Q&A. For those, we could not probably respond now, we'll definitely get back to you with the response, and we will be also sharing the recording of this webinar as well with all of you, right? All right, with this, we come to the end to this webinar. Thank you, Ayush, for joining us today, and thank you everyone who has joined us and given your valuable time. We look forward and we to our next event with all of you. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.